Michelle Bale, the French world champion, and Jeff Stanton, the defending Supercross champion, splitting the wins. Can they maintain the blistering pace? We'll find out next on Supercross 91, the ultimate challenge. From Anaheim Stadium, home of the California Angels and the Los Angeles Rams. And that action is not far away. Welcome to Anaheim. With me, and we're talking about action, a guy that's seen a lot of it, former Supercross champion Johnny O'Mara, and winner of this event in 1984. John, I know that if you had your druthers, you'd be out on the racetrack racing, but unfortunately, it's not to be.
Yeah, you're right, Larry. Things didn't work out like I wanted to. This is supposed to be my retirement race, and broken clavicle while I was racing, and that put an end to it. But I'm sitting here with you, and I think that's the next best thing.
Well, you got a good seat anyhow, John, where we'll watch all the action from. Johnny O'Mara, the 1984 winner in Anaheim. Now, we'll bring you all of the action from topside, while down on the track, Wendy Walsh will keep an eye on things. Wendy?
Thanks, Larry. And Johnny, it is a treat to have such a Supercross champion with us today. I'm going to be here trackside during the race, covering all the action as it happens. Larry?
Well, Wendy, before we get to that action, that spectacular race action that is coming up, let's take a look at the tribute that was paid to Johnny O'Mara, our announcing colleague, in the opening ceremonies earlier this evening.
Motocross has been so good to me. It's set me up in my life. And it's a tough night for me here just to talk to everybody, and I'm basically walking away with it. But I have a lot of good memories, and everybody up here tonight is part of my memories. All I can say is thanks from deep in my heart. Just thanks for cheering me on in the good and the bad days. Thanks again, everybody up there. You guys all mean a great deal to me. Thank you.
Now, Johnny, your friends would like to say goodbye to you.
The way it went earlier this evening as Johnny O'Mara, former Supercross star, former Supercross champion, announced his retirement. John, about all we can add to that is thank you for the memories, and thank you for joining us to lend your expertise to Supercross action. And that action is coming up right after this. Anaheim Stadium and Supercross 91, the ultimate challenge. Contestants in the 125cc class are just about set to go. They're completing their warm-up lap. Before we get to that action, let's go to Wendy Walsh with a special inside report.
During the race, the only way that a mechanic can communicate with his rider is through a pit board. Now, communication is vital, and in other forms of motorsports, they use radios, but not in Supercross. Pit boards are the only form of communication. Take your eyes off the track to read those signboards? Well, I'll tell you, they're a lot braver than I am. Now, this 125cc main is about to get underway. Here's a look at the standings in the Western region. Here's what some of the riders and some of the favorites look like underneath the helmets. That's Jeremy McGrath. He's got to be considered the favorite, along with his teammate, Steve Lamson. But don't count out these next two guys. They ride for Team Kawasaki, and they are good. Let's keep our eye on that card. There it goes sideways. This is where you start to rev the engine, jam it into gear. Eyes are focused on the starting gate. There's a little rod down there. When it moves, they go, and they're off. All 20 in this 125 Western Regional main event. Man, is this going to be some kind of an exciting race. For the first time, the West riders are on the track by themselves, and we've got a spill in the middle of the racetrack. All of the riders were able to get around and miss that young man, and are we happy about that? He looks like he's okay, and he only wants to get up and rejoin the fray. Meanwhile, up front, the action is hot and heavy as the leaders start to sort themselves out. Rider number 125, Jeremy McGrath. He's followed by number 29, Steve Lamson. That's the way they sorted out as lap number 1 starts to wind down. Just a couple more corners, and for the first time tonight, they'll cross that finish line jump. So the Pro Circuit Honda team, the Peak Antifreeze Honda riders, are doing what they're paid to do. They're out front and showing the rest of the field the short way around. John, a 125 is easier or harder to ride than a 250?
Well, I think in Supercross it's a little bit more difficult. You don't have all the horsepower like the 250s do.
And McGrath casts a quick look behind him. The only thing he sees is Steve Lamson. I guess if you're in that Honda pit or the Pro Circuit pit, you're mighty happy at this point. I wonder if McGrath is happy because Lamson is a tough customer, and now we've got teammate after teammate. And what's going to happen? Is he going to go for the pass? Will he be gentle with him or what?
Well, it is a team. I think that they will be a little bit gentle, but lure it out the race a little bit more, and then I'm sure that they'll be trying to win it.
I think so, too. In fact, look at that. Lamson tried to put, and he did. He was successful. He put the move on McGrath, and as a matter of fact, he jumped right into McGrath's pass. And John, I'm quite surprised that he would make that kind of move.
Yeah, I didn't think it was all that bad of a move. Jeremy made a little mistake. You may not have caught that, but he did make a little bobble, and that's why Lamson went for it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, stepladders scare me, so you know by far more than I would. In any event, Steve Lamson has taken over the number 1 position. He's rider number 29. Jeremy McGrath running in the number 2 spot. So we have the Pro Circuit Hondas out front showing the rest of the field how to get around this racetrack. And here they come up over the top of that finish line jump one more time, and do they look good? Indeed they do. Running in the number 3 position is Michael Craig aboard a Kawasaki. He's number 88. And Craig just kind of watching what's going on in front of him. What do you do if you're in third? You go for all the gusto right off the bat, or do you kind of study and plot?
Oh, he definitely has to keep the pressure on. He can't let those 2 riders get away. And he's looking like he's not wanting to. He's doing it just that.
I understand. They get away in its history. This way they're within the grasp, and hopefully you'll come back and be able to make a move on it. So Michael Craig, holding down the number 3 position aboard the Kawasaki, has his work cut out for him. There's Lamson, McGrath, and Mike Craig in third.
And we'll be back with more Supercross action.
Steve Lamson, number 29. Steve is out of Pollock Pines, California, and right behind him, giving him everything that he wants in the way of a race. Number 125 is teammate Jeremy McGrath. McGrath is all over Lamson. Look at that. It's almost like Lamson is holding him up.
Yeah, I think that Jeremy has found his lines, and he's just basically getting into a better rhythm now, and he looks like he's really in the good
spot. There he goes. Look at that. Look at that. Talk about the rhythm. Did he know that he would not make the pass there, but he just intentionally jumped to let him know, or did he think he would have a good shot at getting by?
I thought he had a chance, and I think he did too, but, you know, they're teammates, and I think that's what was into play there.
Boy, does he look good. He looks loose. He just looks like he owns the racetrack right now. He's taking some chances that Steve Lamson is not, and he's riding much more aggressively, but well within control.
Yeah, they're both looking very good. I'm impressed with both of them.
Oh, yeah. Lamson goes down low. McGrath went high. He got the drive out of that corner, and I think that we're looking at maybe one of those missed shifts because Lamson was passed like he was standing still.
Yeah, well, Lamson took the inside line, thinking Jeremy might take the inside line, and Jeremy had a much better drive on the outside.
That's one of those games that you play out there called try to outguess the guy behind you. Now look at the gap that McGrath has opened up on Steve Lamson. He made the pass, and he's not slowed that pace one bit.
No, I think he exactly knows what he wants to do now. He followed Lamson long enough. He wants to stretch the lead and win this thing.
Okay, here comes the Kawasaki now coming into play, rider number 88. And he's not been really a factor up until this point. But I think that Michael Craig is going to be a factor before it's over. Now the starter, we're taking a look at our starter. If you see him on the left side of the screen, has mounted on his head, John, a little lipstick camera, and this is his view of the racetrack. Here are the riders coming at him, and right below him, that gentleman is keeping track of how many laps each rider has gone. There's the pack that houses the power unit, the center for the camera, and on top of his head, we can't quite see it, that little thing. And, well, he's got a tough job out there. He's trying to figure out who's in what place and who to give those flags to.
Yeah, it's very important because you control the race by giving blue flags, yellow flags, stuff like that.
Back to our leader, Jeremy McGrath, rider number 125. He was the early leader. He was passed by his teammate, and then McGrath came back and repassed to take over the number 1 spot. So McGrath, number 125, easily now outdistancing the rest of the field. He definitely is the class rider out there. Steve Lamson running well back in second place, and he's working through traffic, and wow, he has no apparent regard for the lap riders. And I think if I'm that guy, I'd want to. Here's a battle for second, John. Steve Lamson, number 29, in second, and there's Michael Craig, number 88. This one is heating up.
Yeah, it definitely is. Mike Craig wants to get by here and give Jeremy a shot to the win.
The question, of course, becomes if he is able to make the pass, does he have enough time? Because he's back there in third place. He's got good rhythm. But in the meantime, out front, pulling away, is Jeremy McGrath. So he's got to make that pass if he has any hopes of winning. He's got to make it quickly.
Exactly. He has to make a pass here on this lap and the next lap to really have a shot to win this thing.
It's a battle for second that we're looking at just at the top of your screen, just disappearing. And there he is. Jeremy McGrath is the leader. That's the gap back to second and third place. Steve Lamson in second, Michael Craig in third aboard the green Kawasaki. Now, earlier today, we asked Jeremy McGrath, our race leader, who he thought the toughest competition would be for him out here tonight.
Well, right now, I'd say Steve Lamson has to be the toughest competition. He's my other teammate on Peak Antifreeze team, and he's been riding really well these last couple weeks, and, you know, he's pretty close right now.
And now Lamson has opened up about let's give him about an 8-9 bike length lead over Michael Craig, running in the number 3 position. So these riders have been going back and forth. Craig seems able to draw up to the rear wheel of Lamson, but he's not able to get that final 2 or 3 bike lengths to get his wheel in there and force some kind of a pass.
Yeah, I actually think Lamson's going a little bit faster now than he was a little while ago. I think he was a little bit tense at the beginning, and now he's loosening up.
He looks more comfortable, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
How does that happen on a racetrack? I mean, all of a sudden you're cold and you're tight and things aren't working right, and the next time around everything falls into a groove.
Well, I know when it's happened to me in the past, you just got to start taking some big breaths of air and just loosen those arms up, and it usually works.
We hear so often a rider refer to pumping up his arms, John. What happens in a case like that?
Well, you're just definitely, when you hear anything to arm pump up, you're riding too stiff. And the name of the game is to be smooth and fluid and be real loose on the bike.
Of course, when a rider's arms pump up, they get real tight. They're almost like rocks. I've felt your arm a time or two when you come off the track. And when those things happen, it's like you're squeezing a boulder. And I imagine it's pretty hard to control the motorcycle and hold on.
Yeah, it's very difficult. And usually you can't recover. It looks like we're on the last lap.
Last lap, that's what that white flag is all about. Out front, Jeremy McGrath, rider number 125. There he is. He's got a clear line to the checkered flag. Behind him, as we see McGrath feeling his oats a little bit off that big jump, waving to the crowd. Boy, that's got to make you feel great when you have a lead that you can kind of play around with.
Oh, definitely. And he's here in front of his home fans, and he's confident. He's got the win.
Jeremy McGrath from Sun City, California. He's aboard the Peak Antifreeze Pro Circuit Honda. On the last lap, he's going to tuck this one in the book, and I believe that this will be McGrath's first ever Supercross victory, and that's going to make it doubly sweet.
Oh, yeah, those first ones are nice.
Do you remember yours, John?
Sure do. Something you'll never forget.
I guess. Here he goes. We're down now to the last few corners, headed toward the finish line. And Jeremy McGrath, with a wave to the crowd, a double bumper, and a big number 1, takes the checkered head. You talk about a happy young man. If we could see inside that helmet, John, we'd see nothing but smiles. Boy, and he's not feeling anything but those smiles. There's no pressure now. He's not tired. Look at that. He is happy. And we'll go down to Wendy, who will be with Jeremy McGrath.
Jeremy, another victory for the Peak team, and your biggest competitor here was your own teammate. How did you lose that early lead, first of all?
Well, I came around this corner over here. Things went a little bit slippery there, and I almost crashed. But the Peak you know, pro circuit axle Honda, everything came through. I came through the little mishap there, followed him for a while, and charged there at the last and made a move, and the peak prevailed.
It certainly did. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Back to you, Larry.
Thank you, Wendy, and our congratulations to our winner, Jeremy McGrath, who was followed by Lamson, Craig, Bolin, and Lawrence, all capable of making it into the main event by finishing in the first 4 positions. Included rider number 12, Ron Tishner, number 11, Damon Bradshaw. Bradshaw is the 1990 winner of this Anaheim event. And behind them comes Guy Cooper aboard a Suzuki, Rick Johnson, another Honda rider. Johnson, the winningest rider in the history of Supercross, is in the declining years of his career. However, Johnson will be a threat no matter where and when he rides. But Jeff Stanton got the whole shot. That is the most important part of Supercross racing, getting out front and getting there as quickly as you can. Heat races are only 8 laps long, and if you're back in the pack trying to work your way to the front, well, 8 laps is not a lot of time to do it in. Now, I should also point out that the winner of the fastest heat race of the night will get the number 1 pick on the starting gate for the main event. And as you have already seen, that start is ever so important. The theory is the rider that gets the best spot at the gate will have the best shot at getting to corner number 1 first. And if you can do that, well, you have a chance of taking over the number 1 position and hopefully running away from the competition with no one to interfere with your lines. You pick the fastest lines through the track, and there is no one to bother you, no one to get in the way. Now, we're watching the battle for the final transfer position. 4th place, Ronnie Tishner, rider number 12 out of Palm Harbor, Florida, is currently in 4th. Right behind him, Damon Bradshaw. He's aboard a Yamaha, Tishner on a Suzuki. Bradshaw comes out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, in the early going of heat race competition or main event competition, a rider might elect to follow the rider directly in front of him and study the line. That's what Larry Ward is doing now in the number 2 position. He's watching every move that Jeff Stanton is making. Stanton, number 1, out front. Ward will try to determine where on this racetrack he can go maybe just a little bit faster than Stanton and where he could set Stanton up for a pass. If Stanton is going low in a corner, then Ward possibly can go high and maybe rail around the outside of it. Meanwhile, back to that final transfer position, things are really heating up. Damon Bradshaw, the number 5 position, goes to the inside of Ron Tishner. Almost made the pass there, almost had enough room, but Tishner held on and slammed the door. Said, not this time. You'll have to wait another corner, another straightaway, or another set of bumps before you get around me. It's not going to be that easy. Tishner went to the outside there. Bradshaw knew he was going to do that. He'd been studying the lines that Tishner had been taking. Bradshaw took a chance, shot to the inside, and he takes over the number 4 position, the final transfer spot. Stanton, meanwhile, is doing exactly what the leader is supposed to do. He's ignoring the competition behind him. He's studying the lap riders that he is currently working his way through and taking the best lines on the racetrack, all designed, of course, to get him around the track as fast as he possibly can. And Stanton takes the win. Let's go to Wendy Walsh and see what Stanton had to say.
Jeff, you certainly made it look easy. Does a big win like that do something for your confidence?
Yes, a little confidence booster, but it's not the main event's the most important part. Heat race is a heat race. We have the main event.
Still doing okay under here, the press.
Well, you had a little bit of pressure from Larry Ward at one point, but how did you maintain that composure?
I just rode consistent. I knew he was going to fade. He's not in as good a shape as I am, and
okay,
just took time.
Sorry, we'll be watching for you in the main. Back to you, Larry.
And here are the qualifiers for the main event. From heat race number 1, it was Stanton, Larry Ward, Mike Kudrowski, Damon Bradshaw. Now let's take a look at the action from heat race number 2. Included in this one, Jeff Matasevich, Jeff Ward, a pair of Kawasaki teammates. Jean-Michel Vail, he's the current series points leader, and there's a rider with a little bit of a problem. He runs off the track. The rule says that you have to re-enter at the point from which you left the racetrack. So that put him dead last, and he'll have to go through the semis or the last chance qualifier if he'll make it into the main. Completing that lineup for the second heat race among those riders that could well be in contention. Doug Dubach on a Yamaha. Mike LaRocco is in this one. Mike Fisher, the KTM rider. Fred Andrews, one of the top privateers in the country, and a host of others. In the early going of heat race number 2, the action up front was provided by a pair of Kawasaki teammates. Out front, Jeff Matasevich, he was rider number 7. Jeff Ward right behind him, rider number 3. Matasevich is one of the youngsters on the tour. This is only his second full year of 250cc competition, while Jeff Ward is the elder statesman. Ward, a previous winner here at Anaheim, is also a 2-time Supercross champ, but one of the older riders on the circuit, 29 years of age, and generally a rider reaching that age is no longer competitive in this rough and tumble sport, but Ward is one of the finely conditioned athletes, one of the best conditioned athletes that participate in Supercross, and he says that fact alone is what has kept him on top and is keeping him on top for so many years. Now, he is pushing Matasevich all over the racetrack. Meanwhile, back in the pack, a battle is ensuing between Doug Dubach, the Yamaha rider number 15, and the series points leader, Jean-Michel Bayle. Bayle, rider number 8 aboard the Honda, is from France. He's a 2-time world champion. He's turned his talents to riding in the United States. He says the toughest competition in the world is here, and if you want to be a real world champ, you have to come to America, you have to beat the Americans on their home turf, and you have to do it in Supercross. He said that is the most respected title in the world. Now Bayle goes to the outside of Doug Dubach. Dubach on the inside managed to slam the door. How much longer will he be able to keep Bayle behind him? Well, you've got to make a bet. If you want to make a bet, I should say, then put it on Jean-Michel Bayle. Technically, there is no finer rider in the world. And just like that, Bayle finds room to go inside. He went all the way up to the wall. Doug Dubach had to get off the gas, and that allowed Bayle to make the pass. Meanwhile, Jeff Ward continued to chase his teammate, Jeff Matasevich. Matasevich, though, was tending to business. The man they called Chicken picked out the best, the smoothest, and the fastest lines on the racetrack to hold Jeff Ward at bay. Meanwhile, behind the front runners, the battle heating up. Doug Dubach, number 15, aboard the white Yamaha, had repassed Jean-Michel Bayle. Bayle had to go to work all over again. Now, fans watching this heat race had no idea where to look. Out front, a battle for the number 1 position between the Kawasaki riders, Matasevich and Jeff Ward. Behind them, that battle that was going on for the number 3 spot. Doug Dubach, number 15 on the Yamaha, and Jean-Michel Bayle on the Honda. Now watch as they crest the finish line jump. You'll see the white flag signifying 1 lap to go. Dubach looks over at Bayle and says, "Hey, give me a break." Now this is for the number 3 position. Coming around the corner, Dubach with an inside line. Looked like he had taken all chances of passing away from Bayle, but Bayle managed to squirt to the inside of Dubach to take over the number 3 position. Now, because all 4 of those riders will go into the main event, you might wonder why it was so important for Bayle to make that pass. Keep this in mind. The better a rider finishes in a heat race, the better pick he will have on the starting gate. And that's why the battle up front between Matasevich, the leader, and Jeff Ward, the challenger, will be carried all the way to the checkered flag. Jeff Ward is not about to give up. Matasevich knows that. He can't afford to let off the gas 1 instant, and that's how close it was at the checkered flag. Meanwhile, Bayle takes third with Dubach fourth. Let's go to Wendy Walsh.
Jeff, you had your teammate tight on behind you all the way through this race. Knowing he was behind you, is that what enabled the 2 of you to create that huge gap?
Yeah, I think so. You know, me and Jeff Ward practice together every day during the week, and we both got a good start. The Kawasaki's are working really well, and you know, I knew he was behind me, and I was just riding like I did at practice when we go practicing, and everything worked out really good.
Did you think he was ever going to overtake you?
No, he never really got close enough to show me a wheel or anything like that, but I knew if I made a mistake, he'd be by.
Well, we'll see you in the main. Back to you, Larry.
Thank you, Wendy, and our congratulations to all of the qualifiers from heat race number 1 and 2. Now let's take a look at the results from the semi-final events. Guy Cooper, Rick Johnson, Denny Stevenson, Keith Bowen, Ron Tishner did it in semi number 1. Fisher, Kehoe, Jones, Andrews, and Somo did it out of semi number 2. And we'll be back with the main event to how rough and how treacherous this racetrack is. There are jumps that propel riders up to 70 feet in the air. High speed, high bank corners. And the most difficult part of any Supercross track, the bone-jarring moguls. Now, the average person would have difficulty holding on for just one lap of this tough Anaheim Supercross track. And that is why Supercross riders are considered to be some of the most physically fit athletes in the world. They have to do it 20 times. Now, on the line, the 250cc main event. There was Jeff Stanton, Damon Bradshaw, number 11. Number 14 is Mike Fisher. Guy Cooper is number 5. Fisher, the rider we were just watching on that roller coaster ride. And here are the standings as we head into round 3 of the Camel Supercross Series. Jean-Michel Bale on top with 47 points, followed by Bradshaw, Stanton, last year's champion Matasevich, and Larocco. Now, with this main event about to get underway, let's go back 1 week ago to Houston, Texas, and round 2. Now, this event at the Houston Astrodome was decided in the first corner. Team Honda's Jean-Michel Bale, the two-time world champion, got the whole shot, and he never looked back. The on-track action, and there was plenty of it, took place in the battle for third. In the early going, Mike Fisher, number 14 on the KTM, held off repeated challenges from a host of riders. With the race winding down, Damon Bradshaw joined the fray. The Yamaha ace found the right combination and took over third place. Now, behind the leaders, several top riders survived 4 starts to move through the pack. Among them, Mike Larocco, who eventually moved all the way to 4th, and defending Supercross champ Jeff Stanton, who finished 7th. Absent from the results column, 2-time Supercross champ Jeff Ward. The Kawasaki rider crashed hard in his heat race and sat out the rest of the evening. This one about to get underway. The cart has gone sideways. The gate is on. 20 of the fastest and best Supercross riders in the world head for corner number 1. A lot of bumping, a lot of shoving going on, but no problem. And look out front, that blue number 1 plate, the defending champ and 2-time champ, we might add, out of Sherwood, Michigan, Jeff Stanton. Right behind him, the number 3, another veteran, a 2-time Supercross champ, Jeff Ward. These 2 riders already rocketing away from the rest of this field. These first few laps could very well tell the story of the race. John, right now, Stanton is thinking of one thing and one thing only, getting away from the pack if he can, and Ward is not about to let that happen. Eric Kehoe running in 3rd. He could be the roadblock in this thing that holds up some of the other riders because Kehoe's not been riding. Bradshaw running in a number 4 position. Rick Johnson at 5th. There's Jeff Matasevich. There's Mike Kidrowski. And there's Bale back about, I would guess, somewhere around 10. So we got most of the good guys way up front, and it's not out of reach for Bale. This is going to be a barn burner, John.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be an interesting race with Stanton leading it, Bale back a little ways, and we got Bradshaw, I believe, in 3rd now.
Look at Stanton go. He is aggressive and he's smooth. He is, at the same time, he's doing both of those things. He is really on the gas tonight. He's feeling his oats. Here we go, 3rd place, rider number 33, Eric Kehoe. There's Damon Bradshaw in 4th, rider number 11. This is anyone's race at this juncture.
Yeah, definitely. It's just too early to say. Things haven't spread out at all yet, but definitely Stanton and Ward look like they're getting away from everyone else.
Let's try to count them down. Stanton and then Jeff Ward. There's Eric Kehoe running 3rd. There's Damon Bradshaw. Right behind him comes the chicken man, Jeff Matasevich, your former teammate. This guy could be a factor in this one. No 2 ways about that.
No doubt about it. He's an aggressive rider, and I know he wants to get farther up than where he is.
And here's the battle. Damon Bradshaw takes over the number 3 position. He got the drive on Kehoe, said, move over, son. I'm coming through. Now, earlier today, I talked to Damon Bradshaw because he has changed his riding style. I talked to Bradshaw and said, when are you going back to being aggressive? This is what he had to say.
I'm looking at it a little different this year. I still want to win just as bad as anybody, but too, I want to not maybe take that chance. It's taking a chance on going down or crashing at the end of my season. But, you know, we got 16 races left, and we're here at the 3rd one, and it's time to win.
Here we go. Jeff Stanton, and he's still being chased by Jeff Ward. Ward looks good. 29 years old. He's the oldest rider out there that is anywhere near competitive, and 2 Supercross championships under his belt. And again, a former, look at that. Oh, I see a block pass coming up. He could very well try one at that particular point.
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff looks excellent, Jeff Ward, right now. And like you said, the guy's just ageless. And I got all the respect in the world for him because I've raced against him my whole life.
You've raced against him, you've beaten him, he's beaten you. He was your teammate just 1 year ago. Probably you know him as well as anyone on the racetrack. Now, Jeff Ward has been the victim of crashes the past couple of weeks. We asked Jeff if it was bad luck, if he was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Yeah, definitely in pain, but I've ridden there before, and I feel I can put 100% in without any problems of missing some jumps. I should be fine.
So Jeff Ward not at all discouraged about his chances to do well in this series. It's only 3 events old, as he pointed out, and who knows what could happen. Right now, he's really got the pressure on Stanton. Look at that. He gets a wheel on the inside. Stanton knows he's there, and if I'm Jeff Stanton, I guess I'm a little worried. Oh, almost. John, they call that a block pass.
Yeah, that was exactly what you said, a block pass. And like you said, Stanton knows he's there, and Wardy's doing exactly what he needs to do to put the pressure on and try to win this game.
6 more inches, and I think he would have had the job done. I think that Stanton would have had to hit the brakes. We'll never know until we get around to that point again. I think he's found himself a place where he's going to try a pass before this one's over.
Yeah, Wardy seems a little fast in that section. Wardy could have possibly made the move, but he knows it's still a little early in the race, and he doesn't want to take himself out like he has in the first couple races.
Well, I agree with that, John, and here's something that I know you will agree with me on. It's the subject of this week's Man and Machine feature. The mechanics, the other half of the team. Let's go to Wendy Walsh.
The word mechanic might conjure up images of a lone man in a machine shop, but it's more than nuts and bolts. Supercross mechanics have a very personal relationship with their riders.
I think you have to be good friends with the rider, and it helps you work things out, like just problems and things like that. We get along really good. We have a lot of the same likes and dislikes, and it just works out good.
I know when he's up, I know when he's down, I know when he needs a couple of buttons pushed to make him have a good day, and that's the most important thing, is to really learn about each other and to make it successful. That's how you have to do it.
It's more mental and being as close to the guy as possible, kind of being a babysitter during the week, keeping the guy mentally high. You got to work pretty close with him. It's a lot more than just working on motorcycles.
Well, I've watched many successful teams, and I try to mimic the way they work their success. And in every case that I saw, they were more than just a rider mechanic. They were friends. They did everything together. They worked together, and I think that's the way it has to be.
The way it has to be and the way it should be. We'll be back right after this. California, Anaheim Stadium. This is Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge. I'm Larry Myers, with me, Johnny O'Mara. Now, at the outset of this 250 main event, we saw Bale running mid-pack. Since then, the Frenchman, the 2-time world champ, has worked his way past several slower riders, and now the going gets just a little bit more difficult. The rider Bale is chasing Rick Johnson, one of the best in the world, a former Supercross champ. Now, because they are teammates, Bale will be cautious as he tries to pass, but make no mistake about it, he will try it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, there's no team tactics now, and Bale definitely wants by, and right there he did.
Yep, he did. He took Johnson right out to the wall. Johnson had absolutely nowhere to go. He had to hit the brakes, and he was history as far as that position goes. Bale has also passed Cooper. So Jean-Michel Bale is working his way to the front, but Stanton has a healthy lead, and I don't know if there's going to be enough time in this one. Look at that. Oh, Rick Johnson comes right back. I thought he had the pass.
Yeah, that was a good move on Rick's part. Not letting off, still keeping the pressure on Jean-Michel.
He indeed is. Rick Johnson is riding extremely well out here this evening. And here's the battle for the number 1 spot. These are the guys that are chasing him. Of course, his teammate and defending champ, Jeff Stanton, out front. And Stanton appears to have moved away from Ward just a little bit.
Yeah, and also, you don't see Bradshaw behind him either right now.
We'd ask Jeff Stanton whether or not, after the domination in the opening 2 rounds, whether or not he thought this was going to turn into a Jean-Michel Bale and Jeff Stanton battle for the championship.
I hope so. Jean-Michel and myself are riding both very good. I made a mistake last week, and I'd rather see nothing more than the Honda to go 1-2 all the way through the series, and with Jeff Stanton on top, of course.
This is a battle for 4th, and what a battle it is. Bradshaw and Kiedrowski going at it. A couple of times last year they battled. I remember once when Kiedrowski put Bradshaw off the racetrack, and I'm sure that Bradshaw has that in the back of his mind right now. Will he do it again? Kiedrowski looks tough, mean, gnarly, and he makes the pass.
Yeah, very clean pass. No contact, just went inside and outrode him.
Earlier in the heat races, you had made the comment that Damon Bradshaw is not riding as smooth as he should be at this juncture, and looking a little bit ragged, and indeed he is. Kiedrowski, geez, he went by and he just pulled him away.
Yeah, both Matasevich and Kudrowski look like they had no problem with him. Definitely Damon looks like to be riding a little bit, just struggling.
So Matasevich moving into third, but there is the rider that has provided most of the action on the track the last couple of laps. Number 4, Mike Kudrowski. First year on a Kawasaki. He came over from Team Honda. You made a similar switch, and I'm wondering if what effect it has on a rider. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's take a quick look at Jean-Michel Bayle, as he has now gone by Damon Bradshaw. Bradshaw definitely not riding as fast as he should be. Something is wrong with the bike. There's something wrong with Damon Bradshaw. I can't believe that he was passed that quickly and that easily. But Bayle on the gas has taken over the number 5 position. And the battle for third place is heating up. Matasevich has company, and it's his teammate, Mike Kudrowski. Matasevich is rider number 7. There he is on the green Kawasaki. Right behind him on another green Kawasaki, number 4, Mike Kudrowski. John O'Mara, you know both of these guys very well. I understand there is no love lost between them, even though they are teammates.
No, you're exactly right. There's some bad blood there. Hopefully it doesn't come into play here. Hopefully they'll look at it, this race, how they should.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Matasevich doesn't hurry and get around the lappers in front of him, we're going to find out, because Kudrowski has closed the gap, and he's just 5-6 bike lengths right behind him. Here we go. The battle for the number 3 position has heated up. This is anyone's before this one is over, and here comes Jean-Michel Bayle in 4th place. We just got a shot of that red motorcycle, so it's going to be interesting. The battle for first is basically over unless Jeff Stanton makes some kind of a mistake. So this is where the action is. And speaking of action, you might wonder how they control all of that action out on the racetrack. Well, they do it through a series of flags. Most of the flag action is handled by the official AMA starter. From his vantage point at the finish line, he controls the race. The green flag means race is on, everything's okay. Cross flag, that's the halfway point. A yellow flag indicates there's danger ahead. The red flag means, hey, we're going to stop this race, we got a real problem. The blue flag, that indicates that a rider is being lapped, move over. And of course, the white flag says 1 lap to go. And the most famous race flag of all, the checkered flag, signifying the end of the race. Back to the action, and this is a battle for the number 3 position. The leader in this group of 2, the 2 green Kawasaki's. Here he is, number 7. Number 4, Mike Kudrowski in 4th, and here's number 5, number 8 in the number 5 position, Jean-Michel Bayle from France. So Bayle has really come through the pack strong.
Yeah, definitely. Jean-Michel is making a good effort here, and he has a real good chance of getting possibly even 3rd place with these guys just right ahead of him right now.
We've said this time and time again that technically there is no one better in the world than Jean-Michel Bayle. He has worked his way to the front. He's done it all on the smooth, superior riding skill, where a guy like Kudrowski, a guy like Matasevich, they're not afraid to take a chance and let it all hang out and be a little bit on the bullish side. And look at this, now the battle down to 2-3 bike lengths, and Kudrowski squirts by on the inside. What happened, John? A little too much gas?
Yeah, he tried to get on it real early. Rear wheel hopped out of the berm. Just went sideways, had to let off.
Oh, boy, he had the pass made. Boy, chicken knows he's there. Now Matasevich is a little bit on the worried side, I would think. He's looked over his shoulders a couple of times, and that's not something that you should be doing. You need to concentrate on the track. You need to concentrate on the job at hand. You really can't worry about the guy behind you.
No, that's when you start making mistakes, and right now he's just riding real defensively to hold Kudrowski off.
Absolutely, and what will happen now, if he's doing that, he's going to slow his pace, and that's going to give Bayle a chance at moving right up to their rear wheels. And there is Bayle. There's Matasevich, there's Kudrowski, and that flash of red was Jean-Michel Bayle. This is the battle for the number 3 position. Wow, is it a good one. This track is tough. White flag, last lap. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Bayle can catch him. There's Stanton. He's way out front. And if Matasevich is able to hold off Kudrowski, it looks like he's going to right now. He's got about a 10 bike length lead. Of course, one little bobble, and that's gone. There's Jeff Ward. He's holding down the number 2 position. Back to our leader as he is just a few corners to go, and he's going to claim his 2nd victory of this young Supercross season, and I believe it's going to give him enough points to put him right back up on top of the leaderboard, assuming Bayle is going to stay back there in that number 5 position. Jeff Stanton out of Sherwood, Michigan. He won the opening round in Orlando, Florida, and he's on his way to claiming the checkered flag, and there it is for the second time in 3 events in this 1991 Supercross season. Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge, has been bested by Jeff Stanton here in Anaheim Stadium. Matasevich held on for that number 3 position as Wardy got second. And you know, there's a goodwill gesture. He turned around to look for Ward. Oh, look at, he's happy. He turned around and looked at Ward and said, "Did you hold on?" and gave him a thumbs up. They're not teammates, not anything like that, but I think there's some respect, some admiration showing through in the part of Jeff Stanton when he does something like that. Wardy, that man right there, rode one heck of a race. You have to be impressed with him, John.
Yeah, Jeff Ward did a fantastic job. Just what you were saying about respect. Jeff Stanton respects Jeff Ward. He probably was watching Jeff Ward before he even started racing on the Nationals, and you know, that's just the way it is. Those guys are good guys out there.
Well, you're right, John, and here's how the good guys finished. It was Stanton, Bale, Matasevich, Bradshaw, and Kiedrowski. And we'll be back to hear how Stanton did it. Anaheim, California, the round 3 of the Camel Supercross Series is history. Jeff Stanton won it. Here's Wendy Walsh with Stanton.
Jeff, you certainly turned on the skill and precision that has made you a champion. How do you maintain that level-headed riding?
Well, it's just going to be consistency all the way throughout the year. It's just preparation. I worked hard all week, and I just have to be consistent and go on and win the championship.
You had a bit of pressure from Ward. Did you feel it?
Yeah, he was there. I felt the pressure, but, you know, it's just good consistency riding. It was there.
Well, congratulations again on a spectacular victory. That's it from trackside. Until next time, I'm Wendy Walsh.
Jeff Stanton's win catapulted the defending champ into the number 1 position in the Camel Supercross standings after 3 rounds. Right behind Stanton is teammate Jean-Michel Bale, then Matasevich, Bradshaw, and Kiedrowski. It's still early in the game, but I think you can count on the winner coming from that group of 5. And with that, another edition of Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge, comes to a close. John, I want to thank you for all of the help you gave me tonight.
Thanks, Larry. I had a great time out there with you tonight, and very special night for me. I'd like to just thank my fans again. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for all of the memories. For Wendy Walsh, my special guest Johnny O'Mara, I'm Larry Myers. Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge, continues next week in Seattle. We'll see you there.
Thanks, Larry. I had a great time out there with you tonight, and very special night for me. I'd like to just thank my fans again. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for all of the memories. For Wendy Walsh, my special guest Johnny O'Mara, I'm Larry Myers. Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge, continues next week in Seattle. We'll see you there. Supercross Series. In rounds 1 and 2, the powerful Honda Supercross.
Hey, children of the night, boys and